Hello and welcome to a special edition of the Weekly Wraparound Melbourne Ducks edition. We have with us Jeremy Muir and Steve Belic, the head coach and assistant coach of the Melbourne Ducks, respectively. I'm Gordon Goodenough. You are watching or listening to the Weekly Wraparound. You can find us at Hockey Hype Australia. You can listen to us in podcast form at iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. And you can watch us live currently on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. But first of all, very warm welcome to both Jeremy and Steve. I think between all three of us, we're fighting a multitude of viruses. But we have some exciting news. How are you both feeling otherwise?
All good. Very excited.
All right.
Very excited for the upcoming season. Exhibition season.
Yeah, we had kind of a quasi exhibition season last year, and then a real exhibition season this year. So that's exciting. But I've got the wrong slide on there. But without further ado, we do have some news that you both wanted to share and release for us.
Yeah. So thank you, Gordon. So we're here tonight to announce our team and training squad for the year. So the forwards we have this year are Nikita Garethabal, Roman Cashin, Tanya Crawley, Alita Jackwitz, Brian Johnson, Justine Krulak, Britt Mendham, Hope Newman, Lucy Barrington, Vicky Prochek, Sarah Sparrow, and Tara Yates. So those are the forwards on the team.
On defense, we have Paige Cameron, Georgia Carson, Jasmine Dixon, Neve Gallagher, Ebony Rama, Heather Ryland, Amelia Stringer, and Julia Tran.
Cool. And our goalies, our three goalies for the season are going to be Janelle Carson, Jade Davis-Tope, and Taylor Lester.
And the training squad is going to be Simone Leach, Emma Steele, Tess Wilkinson, Genevieve Lunt, and Eleanor Watson.
Yeah, excellent. So thank you for releasing the news on the show. And we've already got a member of that team in the forwards, Alita Teal, Duck Time. So very excited for the season to come. But we will get into a little bit about some of the players on the team because it is a little bit exciting. First of all, Lucy Harrington, who needs no introduction to Australian ice hockey, a real legend of the game. What are you both excited to see her add to this team?
Yeah, so I've known Lucy for a very long time. I don't know if it says much about my age, but me and Lucy used to coach a lot together. She adds a lot of leadership to the team, not just off the ice, but on the ice as well. She's a very passionate player and very hardworking player, and leads by a lot of her play and her work ethic out there. So she's going to be a very good addition and probably a mainstay on this team for probably a few years from now.
And seems to be a bit of a character. Like the photos I was just saying before, the photos I've seen of her from Phil Taylor, and shout out to Phil Taylor for providing the images. She's quite engaged with the camera. Seems to be a bit of a personality, which is good to see.
Bit of a poster girl for the Ducks, which is great to see. Yeah, I've seen a few photos of her, and all of them looking straight down the lens, which is good. It's good on it.
No, she's good value, Lucy. She knows when to keep it lighthearted and have a bit of a laugh out there and things, but she knows when it's game time and it's time for the game face and be all serious. So she gives the team, and especially the young players on the team, a good as Steve said, like her actions, I guess, sort of show everyone else when it's time to have a laugh and when it's time to sort of knuckle down and put the serious face on. So.
And another newcomer. Now you've already got Georgia Carson on the team, an Australian women's ice hockey legend, represented Australia as well. And now her sister comes across, Janelle Carson. Jeremy, you're as a goaltender yourself. How excited are you about Janelle Carson joining the team?
Yeah, very excited. I used to coach Janelle when she was younger, and then also like younger, and then also at the Melbourne Ice women's team in 2015 to 16 and then 2016 to 17 when I was there. So, yeah, so Coach Nell before, she has obviously a depth of experience. You know, she's played in all the big games and the grand finals and all the rest of it, so she knows what it takes and you know what you have to do at training in terms of like work ethic and just what needs to be done to get there. So it's always good to be able to add as many veteran players as we can. And I think Janelle, Ellie's very excited to be playing with her sister again. I think their mum is more excited than anybody. From what I hear, she's very ecstatic. So,
yeah, excellent. Another key player who looks so good in the exhibition games last season, Neve Gallagher. What can you tell us about her, Steve?
Yeah, Jeremy was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all right. Neve. So Neve's one of our younger players, but despite her age, she did a great job last year during the tryouts, and she brings a lot of experience because we don't. When you look across the roster, especially last season, we had very sort of mixed experience levels. So we got players like Lucy and Georgia who have been there, done that, and they've had all the international experience and AWIHL championships and all the rest of it. But Neve also brings a lot of experience then just as one of our younger players. So it gives the other younger players on the team, something to aspire to. Because Neve is just finishing her year 12, so she's still quite young. But has done Victorian teams and Australian team and all the rest of it. So so despite her tender years, she definitely brings a lot to our team. She's one of our top defensemen. So pleasure to have her back again this year.
Yeah, I think I remember chatting with you. I think about that last year about having her as part of the leadership group as such a young player and having an eye to the future, perhaps. So this is someone that can be part of the Ducks kind of group for a long time. So it's nice to see her on the team again for this season. A couple of players coming over from the Melbourne Ice, Paige Cameron, and I'll also go into Hope Newman as well. What do you see from these two players, or what are your expectations for these two players with AWIHL experience and bright futures in joining the group?
Well, both Paige and Hope are very welcome additions to the team. They same as Georgia and Lucy, and Nellie. They just bring that such large experience in the AWIHL. I mean, Paige is also quite young, but she's been there in the AWIHL for the last few years. They won the championship a couple of times. So I think a couple of times while she was there. So she's been there and done that as well. Even though she's young, she knows what it takes and things. And even just in the tryouts, when we had them out there for a couple of tryout skates, you could just see they sort of bring that intensity. So not that our players aren't also trying their butts off as well, but obviously the Melbourne Ice practices, because they are one the top team in the league and have over the last decade the top team in the league. So you can see the intensity just as soon as they step on the ice. They've just got this little bit extra zip sometimes, and then all the other players have to try to keep up with them because they're so used to those high tempo practices, trying to chase all those elite players around the ice. So they added a lot of spark straight away to our tryouts, which was nice. And then we're hoping that they can, as I said, bring a bit of leadership, a bit of experience. And it's nice to have them come across. I think they're mainly drawn towards, because of the stage where we're probably always going to have a development focus, but because of the stage that we're in right now as a new team, we definitely have that, full sort of development focus, especially this year, not be able to play for championship points. So it's purely just going to be about, if we get a couple of wins here and there, it'd be nice, but we're really looking at okay, how do we develop for the future? And, both Hope and Paige are looking for that, a little bit more of that sort of individual development to what they can do to get themselves up to that next level. So hopefully we can provide that. We'll do our best to get all our coaching staff to help them achieve their goals this season.
Yeah, and looking ahead to this season as well, we for the first time, the Melbourne Ducks will be heading on road trips. So there's 2 road trips. The one, I believe, in November, fairly early on against the Brisbane Lightning at Boondall, November 9 and 10. And then later on, a bit of a wait, but later on, I believe you are... Where are you?
Go to Perth.
Yeah, go to Perth. I'm just trying to look up the the Perth dates. February 8 and 9. You head to Perth and you play the Melbourne Ice at Ice HQ in January. A bit of a new experience for you. An opportunity for, do you think, for like team bonding and getting closer as a group traveling on the road?
Or you, Steve?
Yeah, definitely. Done a few road trips myself, and they're always a fun experience. Get to go away with the team. They're always tough games as well. Traveling, you stay in hotels or caravan parks, or sometimes worse. But if you can get some dirty road wings, it definitely brings the team closer together. Getting some wins on the road, it makes that flight home on a Sunday night, late Sunday night, a lot easier as well.
Yeah. And it will mean between the two seasons you will have played all AWI IHL teams, all 5 other teams. The Melbourne Ice twice. Last year, of course, you played the Sydney Sirens, or last season the Sydney Sirens and the Adelaide Rush, and got a win against the Sydney Sirens, the reigning champions. Was this just coincidence that you happened to have played all 5 teams between the 2 exhibition seasons, or is there method to the madness?
I think I wasn't privy to all the different AWIHL meetings this time around. I did attend one of them, but I think it was deliberate, as far as I know. That we obviously play the Melbourne Ice again, being a local team here, and no costs associated for travel. But to play the other 2 teams as well, and then the road trip factor, as you said, Gordon, because we didn't do any road trips before, so it just gives us a chance to travel. 1, for a bit of experience, and 2, just to show that we can travel. We're prepared to travel before we actually be put into the league, officially the year after. But definitely, as you said, it's fantastic to be able to play each of the teams before actually coming to the season. So it's a fantastic opportunity, experience. Like, everyone's super excited.
And heading into finals, different finals format. All 6 teams will be competing, with the Melbourne Ducks playing the 5th place team in 2 curtain raises on Saturday and Sunday. Looking at the schedule, it feels like it's going to be like a kind of gather round kind of vibe with the A-Dub. What are your kind of thoughts on that kind of format that the Ducks will be involved in this season?
You want to jump in, Steve, or do you want me to go?
No, you got this one.
All right. Yeah, I'm super excited for it, because finals weekend, obviously, it doesn't matter what sport you're playing, but finals time is obviously a special time. And, on the one hand, it's been nice to have, best of 3 game series or best of 7 game series and all the rest of it. But when you have got that one weekend, it is nice too, because everything's just packed in. So for us to be able to be a part of that is fantastic. And, as you said, to play curtain raises, potentially before the, gold medal game and that sort of thing is fantastic. Hopefully we can help draw a bit of a crowd. Maybe we'll see what happens, but it's going to be fantastic. The girls are just super excited, as I said. So
yeah, brilliant. And we do have one question for you, Jeremy, which Steve will be happy that it's addressed to you, Jeremy, from Courtney Kinniston. Jeremy, I know you've been around AIHL and AWHL a while. How excited are you to see the growth in the league, and especially on the back of the PWHL season launch and more vision on women's sport?
It's fantastic. So, like, the PWHL season's been hugely successful. They're having like 16,000 spectators to games, which just shows you like how many there is a demand for it, because traditionally, sometimes women's sport gets that negative sort of, I don't know, not reputation, like the stigma about it, like negative kind of stigma about it. There's not as fun or exciting and that sort of thing, which obviously is not true. So it's fantastic that, like, with the PWHL, we've got, like, it shows how you can just pack out like a whole stadium, and people love watching women's ice hockey. So drawing on that here at home, hopefully we can capitalize. The Matildas have been very successful, in recent, not as recent, but like, more recent times, they've been very successful. So it's great to see that, like, excitement just around women's sport in general. So we're hoping to sort of, I guess, like, piggyback off a little bit of that just global, kind of global sort of hype, I guess, at the moment. And it's super exciting for the team, for the league to have a 6th team, because it just means that every week, there's no bye rounds, also no bye weeks for a team. So everyone gets to play, like, every time there's games. So that's fantastic. And then it's also great that, the league's just expanding. Obviously, in the future, we're looking to expand the league even further, but that's, probably a couple of years away. But the more the league can keep growing, we can try and get up to the same as the AIHL. Would be fantastic. Like that'd be the long-term goal for sure.
Yeah. And Steve, is there a player, just putting you on the spot here, is there a player or a couple of players to watch from the list that we mentioned earlier, the team list, some of the young players that you've seen? I know you may not have been around the team a long time so far, but one that's kind of caught your eye?
Yeah. Well, I think as a young team, you kind of look to the young players, right? Again, I'm referring to my own experience when the Mustangs first started. The younger players, they're going to stick around for many, many, many years, right? So they're looking at our young players like, I guess, Paige Cameron and Nikita are probably two that stick out to my mind as players that are probably hopefully mainstays in this team and hope to build the culture for years and years to come. You've also got, as Jeremy, I think, also mentioned, a lot of players that jumped over from the ice last year. So they bring their experience in as well. So your Georgia Carsons and that. So, yeah.
I think for me personally, like as the ones Steve mentioned for sure, but then also Brian Johnson and Justin Krulak, who are like, they played in our first ever exhibition games against the beer league teams here that we played against, as well as being in our induction, not official, the unofficial season last year. So, and they also both play for the the under 17s Ducks. So they're like all the way through the club from the juniors all the way up into the seniors. So it's fantastic to see players come through the juniors all the way up. We've got a couple of really good young girls in the under 11s team actually, who I was just coaching before. So it's so the future is definitely exciting to get some of those under 11s out there in maybe 3 or 4 years. Start doing some training and things once they get big enough. The future is definitely exciting in terms of trying to bring some younger girls through as well. That's the great thing about having the junior club linked to it, that we can start to develop players through the under 11s, under 13s as well, and try and push them up into the team in the future.
Yeah, perfect. And just quickly before we finish, we do have a comment here from Brady Petrus. Love my Canberra Pirates. From Canberra, obviously, we can't wait to support the Ducks during A-Dub season. I think you're going to get a lot of neutrals as fans. The Melbourne Ducks jersey is pretty sick, and obviously, if you've grown up with the Mighty Ducks, it's pretty popular. Random Aussie just repeating that quack 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 Bash Brothers Goldberg. So there's a lot of history that you can kind of tap into as a club, which I think is kind of cool. But before we finish, and I know it's not all about the W's, although they would be nice. What does a successful exhibition season or induction season this coming season look like to you? Maybe you first, Steve.
I guess just kind of creating a good core group of players, right? And establishing a good culture and putting some structures in place. Since we're not training every week and playing every week, it's going to be hard to really judge where we're going to sit in the league. So if we can have that solid base set for when we hit the actual season, that'd be probably, for me, that's a good place to start. I think we'll be in a great position.
Yeah, absolutely. As Steve said, just trying to set that culture straight from the get-go and see that develop this season. But it would also be nice to, obviously, besides the off-ice and the on-ice culture, seeing as Steve also said, like things we're working on at training, really get the players to, if they can implement it on the ice, so we can start seeing not necessarily everything, but some of those things we're practicing at training and some of those systems and some of those little tactics and nuances of the game. If we get the players implemented that during the games, that'd be fantastic. And then the other thing, would be nice to see some of the score lines, shrink a little bit too, like the gap in the score lines. So when we play the Melbourne Ice again, for example, like we may get a similar result to what we had the previous times we played the Melbourne Ice, but it'd be really fantastic if we can close that gap a little bit, and so we can see some improvement from 12 months ago. So I guess we'll just see how that all pans out, but that'll be some our goals for the season. So.
Yeah, excellent. No, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for releasing the team list. Big shout out to Melbourne Ducks, Ice HQ, and CCM for helping put this together. And appreciate you both taking your time out of the busy schedule straight off the ice and into the room. So really appreciate you taking the time as well. We do have Courtney Kinniston mentioning she already has a Duck shirt. T-shirt was too good not to resist. Make sure you get your merch. And yes, Random Aussie Flying V equals quack time. But thank you for joining us. This has been a really short one, but a good one. You can find us a replay of this in podcast form, as we mentioned, on Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. You can watch a replay on Facebook or YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. But on behalf of Jeremy Muir and Steve Belic with the Melbourne Ducks coaching staff, I am Gordon Goodenough. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.